Hi everyone, my name is Bert Monro. I'm the CEO of Cora Gold. Cora is a West African gold development company focused predominantly in Mali, but also in Senegal. Cora's got a suite of permits across those areas. We've got around 1,000 square kilometers of ground in that highly prospective shear zone, both of the Kenieba window, but also the Yanfolila belt. We've got one main project called Cora. We completed a maiden scoping study on it earlier this year, had some extremely positive economics, which we'll dip into later, including over 100% IRR at $1,500 gold price. And more recently than that, we just secured a $21 million funding package with Lionhead Capital. Cora's got a great team, a proven track record of making discoveries, which have turned into producing mines in West Africa over the last 20 years. And we've got an excellent share register as well. A bit more on the team here, chaired by Ed Bowie, has been a fund manager as well as working in the industry and on the finance side as well. John Forster, head of exploration, has got over 30 years experience of finding and making discoveries in West Africa, as well as a strong non-exec board as well. So dipping into our project portfolio, as you can see on the left of your screen, you've got a suite of permits in the Kenieba window, which is along the border of West Mali and also Senegal. Medina Fulbe, we've been drilling earlier this year. We got some encouraging drill results. Unfortunately, due to coronavirus, we had to stop the drilling campaign slightly early. So looking forward to getting back to that in the coming months. Obviously, those permits are in the midst of some of the major gold mines of West Africa and Africa. So a great area to be. Our main project, though, if you look to the right, is called Cora. We've got a suite of licenses in that Yanfolila belt. Obviously, you've got the producing Yanfolila gold mine, as well as the likes of Kalana, which is owned by Endeavour, Kabada, which is owned by African Gold Group. So right in the midst of some decent-sized assets there, some producing assets as well as development ones. We've got a large land holding. And obviously in Cora, we've got a maiden resource and scoping study, which we believe has great potential. The most exciting thing is the fact that it's got a lot of oxides. It's got up to 100, 120 meters depth of oxides. And we've only drilled a very small fraction, a very small portion of our discovery so far. So a huge amount of upside potential from this land package in highly prospective area. So just focusing in on the Cora project for the next few slides. I've already talked about it a little bit, but it's got 5 permits which are all contiguous. They come together to make around 350 square kilometers of ground. We've got an exploration target done by SRK, which is 1 to 2 million ounces of gold, limited to a depth of 100 meters. Of that, we've got a little under 300,000 ounces converted into an inferred resource, which we delivered the scoping study on the back of. Project's about 4.5 to 5 hours south of Bamako. Most of that's driven on a tar road, which is great. The last 45 minutes or hour or so is on a dirt road, so it's got good accessibility. There is water nearby. There's the Niger River about 8 kilometers to the north. So, and obviously you've got other gold projects nearby as well. So we're certainly in a nice prospective spot. Dipping into the project in a little bit more detail, we obviously delivered a scoping study on the project in January of this year using a $1,500 gold price. You've got over 107% IRR of close to 24 in the project, average life of mine production of 45,000 ounces a year. But I get, that's obviously great, and obviously those are some fantastic economics for a project. I think for us, what's almost more exciting about it is probably we've drilled about 20% of the surface expression so far. So there's a huge amount of the permit to be drilled. And we firmly believe that 1 to 2 million ounce exploration target is achievable. We're under a third of that, the bottom end of that so far in terms of resources. So looking forward to doing a lot more drilling on the permit, growing that resource and growing the scale of the project. So for us, the project looks to be a high margin, high return project, which would deliver good free cash flow. And obviously the nature of an oxide project, you benefit from, one would expect low sustaining capital. It's got good high recoveries. So it's got a lot going for it. And we just need to keep delivering on the promise, really. So yeah, look, dipping into into it in even greater detail, look, I can let you read it, and obviously in your own time you can go through these numbers in a lot more detail. And obviously anyone can contact me and reach out if they've got any questions more specifically. We're obviously leading with the $1,500 numbers now. You can see it, $1,400 and $1,300 gold. You've still got a project which is delivering a very good free cash flow, high IRR, and obviously north of 1950. So there's certainly a lot more upside to come on top of that. I think one of the benefits of the scoping study, I think, look, we believe world-class consultants. We used SRK on the resource and mining side, Wardell Armstrong on the processing side, and Digby Wells on the environmental and social side. So we used well-renowned guys who have all delivered projects in West Africa a lot before. So we feel the numbers are very robust. If anything, we hope there's some upside in the numbers. For example, 34-degree pit slopes is fairly shallow, we feel. Certainly, the neighbouring projects which have got either feasibility studies done on them or are in mining, many of them are using 38 or 40-degree pit slopes, which obviously has the impact of reducing your strip ratio, ideally reducing your all-in sustaining cost and increasing your margin. So that's just one of a few areas we think with time and with more drilling and more study work we could hopefully look to improve the project further. But certainly a lot of upside here, but we believe a very robust scoping study to hold our hat on in this instance at the moment. So as I said, I touched on it before. Really, the resource here is what's outlined on red in the map. So Salem in the north, then Zone A and Zone B down in the south. We've got a huge amount of upside potential. There's really mineralization across the permit area. As I mentioned on before, it's got a 1 to 2 million ounce exploration target, limited to 100 meters of depth. So while we've converted 265,000 ounces of it to an inferred resource, that's just based on a lack of drilling. It's not based on a lack of prospectivity. It's just the fact we've only drilled a small portion of the mineralized zone. So looking forward to hitting a lot more drill meters over the coming 6 months or so, and hopefully looking forward to bringing out an updated resource in time as well. Significantly, in June, we signed a $21 million term sheet with Lionhead. The capex on the scoping study project was just under $21 million. So Lionhead Capital is linked with Paul Quirk, who is one of our non-exec directors. It's a Cape Town-based investment group. They're proposing to essentially fully fund the project on the basis that DFS is completed by the end of next year, with obviously give or take the same economics that we delivered at our scoping study. I think the biggest risk for most junior companies is normally the financing. It's not necessarily the ability to deliver the project. I think the fact that they've backed us at this stage and backed us so with such conviction that would ultimately fully finance the project, based on those scoping study economics, when we look to complete a DFS by the end of next year is massively significant for the company. The terms were very competitive. Pleased to have them as a big supporting group of the company. It really gives us good strength to go into the next round of field work and look to deliver that increased resource and feasibility study over the course of 2021. A bit more just around, I guess, the exploration potential. We've had some great hits and we've got a lot to follow up on. We recently just discovered 2 new gold zones, 2 1.5 kilometer gold discoveries, which are to the south and the east of the existing resources. So these are really outside of the exploration target, which is exciting. And look, this shows the potential, and it shows one of the reasons why we think we're going to increase our resource significantly given time and given drilling the meters. So really pleased to see those results coming in last month. Well, I guess month before last now. Now we're in September. But and I think plenty to follow up on and plenty for us to look at to grow further. So Salem, this is just an example. This is of one of our deposits. So Salem's in the north of the permit. I think what you can see here is obviously you've got a long continuous strike length of mineralization the whole way along it. In the cross section, you can see typically a nice wide zone of mineralization with keeping a relatively low strip ratio, relatively straightforward mining mining, which is great, obviously tied in with high recoveries in the oxides as well. So I think, Salem, hopefully a typical deposit on the San Cora project, and one obviously that's still open in the south as well. So looking forward to following up with more drilling there. So moving away from San Cora, this is some of the other permits in the Yanflila belt. Essentially, they kind of surround the Yanflila gold mine. Tekla is extremely close. It's within 8 kilometers of the Yanflila processing plant, and obviously, there are some other permits as well. Farasaba, Tegan, all of those permits have got ultimately got drilled discoveries on them. Tekla had some really good hits on it. 17 meters at over 6 grams a ton. A great drill hole. So for us, this is an exciting package of permits. Obviously, it falls in after San Cora in terms of priority, but I think its neurology and proximity to Yanflila makes it, I guess, doubly exciting in the sense that even a smaller discovery could be potentially much more economic than it would be on a standalone basis because of the the nearness of a producing gold mine. So exploration work ongoing there, exciting times. Let's see what comes of it really. And again, Kenny Aber window is the most prolific gold belt in West Africa. We've got some nice ground, in amongst some really big mines. And again, unfortunately, we were midway through, a drill program at Medina Full Bay, and it had to stop because of coronavirus. So we're looking forward to getting back to that and completing that drill program, hopefully before the end of this year. Time will tell. I think we got some really nice widths of mineralization. The grade was probably a little bit lower than we've been hoping for, but looking forward to following up some other targets on that permit as well. So a lot to play for. Those permits are all at a fairly early stage, but have good prospectivity. So for us, we need to get out there and do the drilling and do the work and hope that the results come through and show for it. I'm sure many of you will be familiar with West Africa and with Mali and Senegal. Both of them, from a commercial point of view, have been prolific gold producing countries. The backbone in many ways of the economy, certainly in Mali. We're obviously looking to follow in the footsteps of many other companies which have gone and developed and built and operated successful gold mines there. So we're hoping to follow in those footsteps. Obviously, Mali at the moment is going through some political turmoil, I suppose is the best way to put it. But ultimately, it has been peaceful, and obviously, hopefully, there will be a peaceful resolution to that. Touch wood, all the mines and ourselves have continued to operate and go about business as normal. So hopefully there'll be no change to that. Equally important as all of the technical side of the business, obviously the community side of it as well. We're proud to have done a number of projects and continue to do a number of projects and work closely with the local communities in the areas that we're operating. Looking forward to building on those as we move forward with the project and looking to develop those further. But for us, it's obviously an integral part of your social license to operate. It's the right thing to do, and looking forward to building on those projects, as I said. The Cora is obviously AIM-listed company based, obviously focused in West Africa, but listed on AIM in London. We're pleased with our share register. We've got some great shareholders. Brookstone and Key Ventures are basically related to the Quirk family. The Quirk family is a large South African-based mining family. They've been involved in a number of successful businesses which have sold successfully, including Lionel, which sold for over $6 billion, and Mantra for over $1 billion in the last decade or so. Michael Farmer founded Red Kite, a large mining finance and trading business, and obviously Hummingbird as well, which has obviously got a producing gold mine in Mali. So obviously, for our stage of business, we've got a good register to grow, and obviously always looking to meet new shareholders. So always happy to talk to anyone who wants to hear more one-on-one after this. I suppose everyone always says their company's cheap when they do these presentations, and I think, look, I'm more focused on saying what's good about what we're doing, and I think we've got a huge amount of exploration potential, and I think we've got a huge amount of backing to enable us to move to the next stage and add that value. So for me, Cora, adding ounces and taking the project through to feasibility study by the end of next year is an exciting period for us. and I think hopefully we'll reap a lot of benefits for everyone involved in the company delivering that. So in terms, of the investment case, hopefully I've touched on it pretty well. But we've got a main project in San and Cora. It's got a high IRR, good free cash flow generation. We've got very strong financial backing, which is backing the development of the project significantly with term sheets and other things. As top of that, we've also got a large project portfolio across West Africa, a highly prospective area in amongst operating gold mines, which is exciting. And we've got a team which has been delivering in West Africa for a number of decades. So we believe we're extremely well set to deliver this project and also the wider exploration as well. Please do reach out to me if anyone's got any questions directly. Looking forward to following up. Thanks for listening.